The Acting Company and The Time of Your Life. For more than 5 decades, Juilliard's drama division has been recognized as one of the premier acting schools in the world. Founded in 1968, it was originally led by the legendary director, producer, and actor John Houseman. Famed for his collaborations with the likes of Orson Welles, Houseman was known for his demanding attitude and clear vision. He also had an incredible eye for talent. His work in the 1930s and 40s left a major impact on the world of theater, and his work also touched on that of William Saroyan, when he presented the first production of Hello Out There in Santa Barbara in 1941. The first cohort of actors graduated from the program, called Group 1, included some fine actors who had been honed through Houseman's demanding methods. The rigors of Juilliard's drama program were felt by the actors. They really worked us. 12, 13 hours a day, class, rehearsals, shows. Only 14 graduated. Some dropped out, some were eliminated. There were a few nervous breakdowns and a couple of attempted suicides, noted Patti LuPone in an interview in 1975. Houseman realized that after graduation, many of the fine actors he had helped to guide through the program would need assistance in acclimating to the professional theater world. Along with Margot Harley, Houseman founded the Group 1 Acting Company, later called the City Center Acting Company, and later simply the Acting Company. Initially consisting of the first group of Juilliard graduating actors, the company began touring almost immediately. Houseman recognized that touring is where many actors hone their skills, and that as a long-time draw, companies full of young actors rarely pull in regular crowds in New York alone. These were little-known actors in search of their fame, after all, and not the kind who sell many tickets. In 1976, the Acting Company produced The Time of Your Life. Houseman and Saroyan had corresponded over the years, but Houseman appears to have not produced another piece of Saroyan's work in the intervening decades. The choice of The Time of Your Life must have been an easy one. It had been a popular piece with actors since it was first performed in 1939. The combination of melancholic optimism and the intimacy of the dialogue make it a showy piece, even if some of the comedy is very much of its time. The combination of moods and tones allow for exploration not only of character but of concept. Saroyan often pointed out that The Time of Your Life wasn't about one thing, but about the intersection of nearly everything, and for an actor, that gives him a range to play with. The Acting Company began touring the show in 1975, taking it both to professional and university theaters around the country. It ran along with the musical The Robber Bridegroom. The plays were directed by Jack O'Brien and received very good notices from many local critics, though some pointed out that the cast may have been far fresher than the material, and others that the actors all seemed too experienced for the roles they inhabited. These were fairly young actors whose technique was informed by the most modern methods, and at this point, the play was more than 35 years old. Touring around the country, the troupe gained an impressive amount of experience, and in 1976, WNET, New York's largest public broadcasting channel, produced The Time of Your Life as an episode of Theater in America. This is currently available on DVD and is an amazing record not only of the play, but of the members of the Acting Company in general. Joe, a well-heeled benefactor of many of those whose paths he cross at Nick's Pacific Avenue Salon, is played with a strong sense of joy and pathos by Nicholas Surovy. He took the role and gave a performance that moves fluidly between tones and moods. That's a difficult master for some actors because it can come off as uneven, but Surovy uses that flow as a storytelling technique. Surovy would go on to a long career in film and television. Kitty Duvall is a role that many actresses have tackled with varying approaches. Julie Hayden played her shining against the darkness of her situation in the original. In the Playhouse 90 version, Betsy Palmer played her more anger, and overall as a more caustic distrust. Here, Patti LuPone plays Kitty with an incredible amount of weight on her shoulders. She infuses a sense of dread at times, and at other points, she seems as if she's disassociated from her surroundings. It's a beautiful performance, heartbreaking at times, and just one of many she's had over a 50-year career. She won Tony Awards for her work in Evita, Gypsy, and Company, and has appeared in dozens of film and television programs. Tom, Joe's lackey, is a fascinating character who can be played several ways with equal support from the text. Many play him as a put-upon schlub who is under Joe's thumb because he saved his life once. Dick York chose that route in the Playhouse 90 version, and it's sometimes cited as being the original intent of the role. Here, Norman Snow Jr. gives him a sense of duty and hopefulness that certainly represents Saroyan's most enduring themes. His interactions with Tom are impressive, with both of them feeling as if they're fulfilling some unspoken contract. Well, mostly unspoken. Snow's performance is well regarded, and he would go on to have many roles on television and film, notably 1984's The Last Starfighter. Sadly, he passed away in 2022. One of the more important roles in setting the tone of the play is Nick, the owner of Nick's Pacific Avenue Saloon. He is both affable and gruff, and represents Saroyan's fondness for those whose contributions are often overlooked. The role has attracted some excellent performances from the likes of actors such as William Bendix, Jack Klugman, and Dennis Farina. Benjamin Hendrickson gives as strong a performance as you'll ever see, and one that helps establish the timing of the entire play. He plays a pivotal role, and one which helps make the comedy feel more solid. Hendrickson continued acting until his death in 2006, notably on the soap opera As the World Turns. McCarthy, the longshoreman, who is also a philosopher and exceptionally well-read, may be the kind of character Saroyan is best remembered for. He represents heady concepts in a clear and passionate way, and those around him recognize his intelligence and admire him for it. They also wonder how he ended up as a longshoreman and not a professor. This kind of role can be tricky, and Saroyan is clearly making a point about the separation of profession and intelligence. In many ways, the role of McCarthy is similar to that of Will Hunting in Good Will Hunting. McCarthy was played by Kevin Kline. Kline would become one of Hollywood's most respected actors in the 1980s, including winning an Academy Award. He also kept working on stage, winning 3 Tony Awards, and television work that includes an 11-year stint on the animated series Bob's Burgers. If there is a heavy in the time of your life, it is the heel Blick. He's the head of the San Francisco Vice Squad and is particularly down on the sex workers who inhabit that part of town. He frequents Nick's saloon, which Nick is not happy about. The end of the play is brought about by his cruel treatment of Kitty, forcing her to perform a striptease on a small stage. In the 1976 production, this scene is especially heavy, almost oppressive, very much so for a television segment of the day. No previous recorded version of the work had that sort of intensity that the acting company put into the scene. J.W. Harper infuses the role of Blick with malevolence. His performance is menacing, and the contrast between Blick and Tom and their treatment of Kitty is a key element to establishing the role of institutions and individuals in how we view not only sex workers, but everyone from a non-privileged class. Perhaps the most interesting performance and one of Saroyan's most memorable characters is Kit Carson, played here by David Schramm. The role of the old codger who fills every available space with his rambling stories of questionable veracity is a classic, and Schramm approached it by bringing both comical joy and a certain sense of longing for a more impressive past. Schramm's career included a long tenure on the television program Wings, and he continued acting until his death in 2020. The smaller roles in the play had many impressive actors as well. Richard Ooms played the Arab, whose mantra-like statement, "No foundation all the way down the line," is the most memorable from the play. Ooms' career has been mostly in film, though with occasional forays into theater. Gwyneth Bell, who played Lorene, has largely remained in theater. On the other hand, Brooks Baldwin, who played the role of the dancer and comedian Harry, first performed by Gene Kelly on stage, has acted from time to time but is far better known as dialect coach for film and theater. One other notable performance that is worth noting is by the author himself. William Saroyan read the prologue. It's read as voiceover. The only image we get of Saroyan himself in the piece is a brief shot of a 1940s headshot that hangs over the bar. The photo of Saroyan in the fedora was his trademark in the days before he grew his legendary mustache, and is one of the most famous of all images of Saroyan. While not all reviews of the program were positive, most noted the quality of the acting and direction. While there have been several staged revivals of The Time of Your Life, particularly in the years following Saroyan's death in 1981, there have been no television productions since the Theater in America version. In fact, other than 2 recordings of university productions on YouTube, there appear to be no more recent filmed versions of the play at all.